Alright, you are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So they're already prepping us for an extension to these fucking lockdowns in Victoria. At the end of this week, that's 11 fucking weeks in hardcore lockdown, and we haven't been out of a lockdown since March. Basically housebound for 3 fucking months. And on the radio today and on the news, it's all gearing up for another fucking extension. They've already basically come out and said businesses and restaurants and bars won't be opening next week. They said there will be some social relaxing on the restrictions, but everything else will remain the same. I mean, for the last however many days we've had single digits or low double digit cases. There's 190 active cases in Victoria. There's 3 million people in Victoria. There's more people with fucking syphilis. It's got to the stage now. Well, it actually got to the stage about fucking a month ago where if you don't start rebelling, then when will you? Under what circumstances will you start rebelling? What if it got down to 1 case and they extended the restrictions? Then what? What would you do? Write something angry on Facebook, or would you get out into the street? Because it's only 4 cases. 2 days ago, I think it was 4 cases. Today there was 15. Amazingly, today there was 15 cases, and they started pumping it in the media that restrictions won't be lifted. And that 15 new cases took the rolling 10-day average. Who gives a fuck? What the fuck is that? The rolling 10-day average. Fuck off. But it took it to like 9.9 or something like that. And they said they're not going to lift restrictions until it's under 10. So I assume there'll be 20 new cases tomorrow. And the restrictions will last another 2 weeks. Another 2 weeks. Like, I mean, it doesn't really affect me. I'm just doing whatever I want. I've been preoccupied for the last 2 weeks now, or longer. But if you want to do something, just go and do it. I can tell you this right now. This is for Melburnians and Victorians. Just go drive around. Drive anywhere you want, because I've been doing it and there's no police around. There's a few police around, but they're not stopping anyone. I've been driving around, no problems at all. And I've seen 1 car stopped by police. On a normal week, I'd see maybe like 3 or 4. So that doesn't mean anything. Just go, drive around, go for a long walk, because no one cares anymore. No one gives a fuck anymore. The only reason anyone is following these restrictions still is because of peer pressure. What can the police really do? If you just went outside and just continued as normal, what is anyone going to do about it? If it's any more than 1,000, 2,000 people did that, they can't do anything. No one can do anything. They can hand out as many fines as you want, but the percentage chance you're going to be one of those people fined is so low that it's not even worth worrying about. You would have to get unlucky. And who gives a fuck? Pay $1,600. It's your fucking freedom. Like, if you leave the house, there's nothing to do, but go for a fucking drive. The thing is now, it is just so unnerving how compliant people have become. It is insane. And the fucking mental gymnastics you have to do now to think this is the strategy we should take is fucking mind-blowing. And no one cares. No one gives a fuck. The people in the street don't give a fuck. The owners don't give a fuck. When I was at the hospital a couple of weeks ago, the nurses didn't give a fuck. The doctors didn't give a fuck. No one gives a fuck. The only reason we're continuing down this path is because of fucking peer pressure. Like today, I saw 2 guys. They were both walking with their fucking masks around their chin, and they walked past each other. As they walked past each other, they pulled their mask up. As soon as they walked past each other, they pulled it back down. I'm like, yeah, no one cares. Everyone's feeling the same. Everyone is fucking over it. Anyway, it's Monday. Hypothetical Monday. I don't like Mondays. Tell me why. Hypothetical Mondays. I feel trapped in this song now. Hypothetical Mondays. I wanna shoot. Ooh, 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 ooh. The whole day down. Anyway, I had a plan today. I was going to get a good night's sleep. I was going to wake up early. I was going to do all my shit because I received the hardest hypothetical I've seen so far. And I wanted to have a clear mind because it's going to take a lot of fucking juggling and balancing to get through this one. I'm going to fucking have to use a scalpel to dissect this hypothetical. But none of that happened. I was going to do the podcast early. It's now late again. I'm fasting. My mind's all fuzzy. I'm angry about the lockdown. I'm angrier at the Victorian people. And now I have to do this hypothetical. I would have liked to have had a little bit more rest and had a little bit more nimble mind at the moment, but I don't. So you just have to roll with the punches. So this week's hypothetical was sent in by my man in New Zealand who keeps on fucking me with these hypotheticals. Liam fucking French. So he sent me a screenshot of a post that popped up on his Facebook page. He didn't write it, just for everyone's information. So he screenshotted it and sent it to me. So here's the hypothetical for this week. Ladies, you've been married for 10 years and no child. You got raped 2 months ago by a robber and boom, you got knocked up. This guy's real lighthearted about that and boom, you got knocked up. Like it's some sort of prank, like a fucking whoopee cushion. Okay, so here it is. This is his question. Would you abort the thing or keep the baby? And gentlemen, so that last question was obviously for the girls. And gentlemen, would you allow your sweetheart to keep such pregnancy? Honest answers, please. And in the comments in this screenshot, there's one guy who said no, just that's it, N-O. And another guy underneath it said, keep the baby and love him and her as your own. It was not her fault. Your wife will need a lot of love and caring. And then it's cut off after that. Okay, so Boyle's pulling out the scalpel because this is a delicate operation and this is rough fucking terrain. So I guess the first question is, what race is the rapist? Now, I'm not saying there would be different answers for different races. I'm just saying little details like this matter. Like how many races are there? There's white, there's black, there's Asian, and then there's like Latinos, like hybrids. And then there's islanders. Is that what race is? Color? Like I'm not going to come up with 6 or 7 individual answers according to race. That would take forever and I'm not a racist. I don't even see color. So let's group them in a different way. So let's just simplify the whole thing and we'll make it 2 groups. White and the rest. Those 2 races seem to be the major races at the moment. White and everyone else. No, of course race wouldn't come into question there. Let's look at some other things in this. You've been married for 10 years and have no child. You got raped 2 months ago by a robber and boom, you got knocked up. So the way this guy's asked this question, he thinks it matters that you've been trying for 10 years and haven't had a child, as though that's going to come up in the conversation whether they keep the child or not. Look, we've been trying for 10 years now and nothing happened, and then boom, a little miracle. So in my opinion, the 10 years no child thing doesn't really come into the equation. This guy must be a little bit out of his fucking mind, I think. If you saw his profile picture, I've got his name here as well, but I'm not going to say it. He's asked that question like the couple are going to be like, well, we wanted a kid, and I know this is a strange way for it to have happened, but the Lord works in mysterious ways. So I'm taking the 10 years bullshit out. So all the hypothetical is, would you keep the baby? He's asked for the men, gentlemen, would you allow your sweetheart to keep such pregnancy? Honest answers, please. Okay, nut job, I'll be honest. That is something I would fucking seriously struggle with. I think an unfortunate scenario like that is one of the main reasons they have abortions. Even in the crazy conservative states in the US, I think they allow abortions under those circumstances. That would be tough. I myself do not have the maturity to handle that. It would be too much for me. It would be too much for me just thinking about something like that happening, let alone going through it and then having to make that decision. I have to go, no. I would not be on board for that. But it's not even the guy's decision. It's the girl's decision. So that's an even more complex situation. What would you do if she said yes, but you said no? Like she had some religious thing against abortion or was just totally against abortion and decided to keep it against my will. Fuck. Then what happens? Then do you stay? That's where it starts getting morally dicey because it is absolutely not the woman's fault at all. And the guy should really just support her with whatever the fuck she wants to do. Theoretically, I remember seeing it on Oprah once years ago. Almost the exact same thing happened and the lady decided to keep it. Her husband was like 50-50 on it. He was trying to wrap his head around the whole thing and trying to support her. She had the kid and they eventually broke up. Like, I suppose he just could not fucking reconcile it within himself. I suppose if you're the woman, and this is really taking some fucking license on the female perspective for this one, but I can imagine something like that would be so fucking traumatic for the woman. But then you keep the baby, and when the baby's born, there's something beautiful there. You have something beautiful that's come out of an act so abhorrent. I think that was in The Watchmen or something. But then from the guy's perspective, because it is different for a guy and a girl when you have a fucking kid. Women are way more empathetic and loving. I would assume a guy in that situation would have a lot of trouble not thinking about how that kid came about. It would be very difficult. Be fucking almost impossible for me. I'm just not mature enough. The whole thing would just fucking destroy me. Now I need to get the fuck out of this hypothetical ASAP. I should have just chosen the one I got sent. Would I rather be super dumb or super smart? That would have been a lot easier and funnier. But anyway, it is what it is. That's it from me tonight, thank God. And I'll see you the fuck later.